Hey everyone, happy Monday, and we are going to be talking about least common multiple today. So we have already done greatest common factor, or you should have done greatest common factor already, and then now today we're going to be focused on least common multiple. Before that, I want to give you a few reminders. Please make sure you are checking Gmail, Google Classroom, and Progress Book every single day. That's something that we need to keep up on because every day we're going to be posting a new assignment. Most of the time, my assignments are going to be due that same day. You don't have to do it right at 7 a.m., but that's when it's going to be posted. But then you have throughout the day to try to get that done so that you don't fall behind. So if you have any questions about assignments, make sure you're contacting me. Google Classroom is obviously where I'll post all your assignments, and then Progress Book, remember that we will post all of your grades on Progress Book. So you want to get good at checking all three. And then email me if you have any questions, but that is just a quick reminder there. Today you might want out a few things. You might want out some scratch paper. It doesn't matter if it's just a back of a piece of paper that you have that was going to go in the trash, a pencil, and then today you're probably going to want out your math workbook. Looks like this. Online learners, you should have picked that up with your computer, and then face-to-face hybrid students, you should have that already in your binders. So that might help you out today, and some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about is going to be coming right from that. So before we get into least common multiple, don't forget the difference between factors versus multiples. Factors, remember, are any numbers that you multiply together to get a product, like 4 times 2 and 8 times 1. All of those numbers are factors of 8. Where multiples are when you have the product of a number after it's already multiplied by other numbers, like skip counting. So if you look at the bottom here, 10, 20, 30, 40, those are all multiples of 10, right? 10 times 1 is 20, 10 times 2 is 30, 10 times 3 is 10 times 3 is 30, 10 times 4 is 40, right? And it keeps going on and on and on. So multiples are always going to be when you multiply other numbers. All right, so today we're going to focus on multiples, and specifically we're going to focus on LCM, which is least common multiple. So let's start here real quick with just some basic definition here. So what does LCM mean? It means least common multiple. So if I were to try and put those in better words, this is also on your workbook on page 7. Let's try to break it down a little bit. Least means I'm looking for the smallest number out of the multiples that we find, right? So if I'm looking at for the multiples of two numbers, I'm looking for the smallest number that's the same after we find all the multiples. Common means it has to be the same number that they share. So if I'm doing the least common multiple of 8 and 6, I'm looking for whatever multiple shows up first. That's the same number. And then again, multiple, we're just going to think of skip counting for now. And basically all that means is we're taking a number and we're multiplying it by 1, and then by 2, then by 3, then by 4, and we're going to keep on going on and on and on until we find that common multiple. So here is a quick way that you can organize your thoughts when you're doing least common multiple. So first off, you can look at, let's say we're doing the multiples of 2 and 3. All you can do is list them, right? Just think about it in your head. If you look over here, it says 1 times 2, 2 times 2, 3 times 2. We could do 4 times 2, 5 times 2, and keep going. Down here we're doing multiples of 3, so we're going to use 3 as our number. 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3. So if you listed them, here's the multiples of 2. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Multiples of 3, we're just counting by 3, skip counting, 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. So if you look here with our list, we see all the red numbers are going to be our common multiples. So 2 and 3 both have 6 as a multiple, and 2 and 3 both have 12 as a multiple. So if you're looking at those two, the least common multiple is going to be the smaller number. So 6 is obviously smaller than 12. So for this problem, the least common multiple of 2 and 3 is 6. Another way that you can organize this, if you wanted to draw a chart like this, is if I take numbers like 6, 12, and 24, I can make a little chart up here where it says times 1, times 2, times 3, so I remember what number I'm multiplying by. So if I did that with 6, again, it's just skip counting. It's just a little bit easier way to organize it. So I can do 6, 12, 18, 24, and so on, and I can fill them in. Then if I get to 12, I can do 12, 24, and then I would go to, right after that, I would go with the next one to 36 to 48, right? We can keep going, and then 24, we can start at 24, then go to 48, and we can fill out this table as we go. But then obviously the first time that you see a number that's the same with all 3 or all 2, if we only had 2 numbers, that's going to be the least common multiple because it's the first one that shows up. All right, so let's do a quick practice problem. What is the LCM, least common multiple, of 6 and 8? So if I were to figure out the multiples, I would just skip count my 6's first. So 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. I keep on multiplying by 1, then by 2, then by 3, all the way through. If I found the multiples of 8, I'm going to skip count by 8s. So I have 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. So then I'm looking through both of these. Oh, I see that 24 shows up in both places. and that's the smallest number that I see, and it's the only number I see. So that is going to be the least common multiple of 6 and 8 is 24. All right, hopefully you're following along with this. All right, now you try. I want you to try one on your own. So if you need your scratch paper, go ahead. You're going to find the least common multiple of 5 and 7. All right, if you did this correctly, you should have skip counted by 5s and then skip counted by 7s and see which number they have in common. So here we go, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. A lot of you know how to skip count by 5s very well. And then if we get to our 7s, it'll be 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42. And then the first number I see that they share, the lowest number, the least common multiple I see is 35. So our answer here, LCM equals 35. All right, let's look at another example. This one's a story problem. Ernesto has painting class every 2 weeks. Kamala has pottery class every 5 weeks. Ernesto and Kamala met at the art building for class this week. How many weeks will it be until they see each other again? So basically, we just got to set this up kind of like we did the other one. This is also on page 10 if you're following along. So we're going to look for the multiples of 2 because it says she has class every 2 weeks. Then we have to look for the multiples of 5 because Kamala has pottery class every 5 weeks. And then we just do our skip counting. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and then boom, 10 right here. So the least common multiple of 2 and 5 is 10. So that means Ernesto and Kamala will see each other again in 10 weeks. Again, if you ever need to rewatch these, just click the little rewatch button and you can go through the example again, all right? Or you can set up a Google Meet with me and we can do some more. So now I want you to try a little bit more. Here's a story problem for you. The movie house gives away a $5 coupon for every 4 movies purchased. They give away a bag of popcorn for every 3 movies purchased. How many movies would you have to purchase in all before receiving both a $5 coupon and a bag of popcorn at the same purchase? This is on page 10, by the way. So if you want to circle any of the numbers and set it up that way, you can use your workbook or you can use your scratch paper. So I'm going to give you a little bit of time to do that, but basically we want to set up our problem with 4 and 3 as our numbers that we start with, and then we want to find the multiples of 4 and 3. All right, now we're checking our answers here. Here is our skip counting by 4s. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. That could keep going if we wanted it to. Then we have our 3s, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And then boom, I see that 12 is the first number to pop up. That's in common. So their least common multiple here is 12. So that means they would have to purchase 12 movies in order to get both the coupon and the bag of popcorn in the same purchase. Okay, so that's it. Let's practice these. You can use any of the examples in the book to look back at in the workbook. You can rewatch any of the parts of this video that you find that were a little bit confusing, and then you're going to work on these 3 final problems. These example problems are also in your workbook on page 11 if you're following along with that. So when the question pops up, you're going to answer it now on the Edpuzzle. What is the LCM of 5 and 6? All right. Hopefully you chose the correct answer here. If I skip counted by 5s, I have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Again, it could keep going if we wanted it to. Then we have 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. It took a little bit of time here, but we eventually found out that 30 is the least common multiple of 5 and 6. Moving on to the next practice problem. What is the LCM of 6 and 9? Okay, if you did this correctly, 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36. We already did that in the last problem. And then we have 9. 9 is 18, 27, 36, 45, 54. And then boom, I can see that 18 pretty much right away was our least common multiple. And a little hint to you, if you see right away that it's an early number, go ahead, you're done, right? If you see that 18 pop up right away and you see that they have those in common, you don't have to work any further because that should be the least common multiple between them. So the LCM here is 18. Last problem for today. What is the LCM of 6, 12, and 15? This is a little tougher. So if we started off, we're doing our skip counting here. We might go out 5 different numbers. So 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. We keep going. And then I'm going to start working at my 12s. All right, so I'm looking here. I see, ooh, 24 is in common with the both of them. So maybe it's going to be 24 if I skip count by 12s. And then I'm going to skip count by 15. So I get 15, 30, 45, 60, 75. Ooh, that's a little tough. So I see that 15 when I skip count doesn't have any numbers in common with 6 and 12 at the current moment. So that means I'm probably going to have to go back to 6 and 12 and look for more multiples. So this one's going to take a little longer. So if I go back to the 6 and I start adding more multiples. So now I have 42, 48, 54, 60, 66. Boom. I finally see that 60, 60, and 60 is going to be in common between 6, 12, and 15. So it took a while to get to that 60 for the 6 up here, but we eventually did find it. So 60 would be the LCM of 6, 12, and 15. Okay, guys, if you need any one-on-one help today, if you want to set up a Google Meet, if you want to do extra problems, if you want to work with me a little bit more, if greatest common factor that we did last time was a little bit confusing to you as well, we can always set up time to Google Meet today, or we can even get together on Wednesday virtually, and we can get some one-on-one help going. All right, hope this has been helpful. If you want to rewatch anything, go ahead. If you want to look through any of the other example problems in the workbook, go ahead. And I look forward to seeing my hybrid students tomorrow. And then online students, I'm looking forward to hearing from you soon.